Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So, my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to another episode of the LANCESCURV show. We're going to keep on swinging. We're going to continue to speak about our brother Malcolm X and bring those who can bring the truth out over the propaganda that's put against him. But we're all Malcolm X's, those of us who are in true knowledge. Speaking of knowledge, I can't even say guest, because a guest is somebody that goes home. Here we have a brother who is family, because he doesn't have to go home, because the home that we're in is his home. Brother Isha Muhammad is here. And the world would call him a history professor. But he's not a history professor because the world calls him that, and he has earned that title very well. He is that because he makes the title. The degree only shows you what he has accomplished in their institutions, but he was already that long before. So every time and every syllable he shares, take note. He is not compromised. He's not tap dancing. He's not shooting for another bit of status in someone else's society. He's just trying to bring the truth as he knows it, as it is, and it is a very rare manifestation of truth. So without further ado, I want to introduce my brother Dr. Isha Muhammad. And I want to speak about Malcolm X. And I want to ask you, why does it seem as though they are watering down, erasing him, putting him out of our consciousness? Why? Now, we know the answer why, but why? Start there, brother.
First of all, Brother Lance, I want to thank you in allowing me to come before your audience again, and thank you for the invite. You know, when I talk to you or when you call me on the telephone, I identify you as the general of African consciousness in America. And what I mean by that is that you keep on pushing the button, making us think, making us debate, making us review who we are, and what is our destiny in the United States, not only in the United States, but in the Americas and throughout diaspora, as well as in Africa. Some of your guests may know me as formerly as Dr. Vibert White, but as you stated, I go by the name now as Dr. Isa Muhammad. And I'm a former professor at the University of Central Florida. Now, you ask a very, very interesting question. Why is it they diluting Malcolm X? Well, first of all, this dilution or this eradication of Malcolm is part of a systematic move to take out the blackness, the positive blackness, as within the history of American society and world society. For example, when you dilute Malcolm, you're also diluting Marcus Garvey. You're diluting Muhammad Ali. You're diluting Paul Robeson. You're diluting Eldridge Cleaver, Angela Davis, and a host of others, because there is a systematic element and a move to negate these people so you will not have a true story of Malcolm. Case in point, on Netflix or one of those channels, they have a story about the Godfather of New York, I believe, or the Harlem Godfather. You see now Malcolm within that narrative is playing a person who is hanging out with Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Adam Clayton Powell was portrayed as a drunkard and a womanizer, even though he had some political control and political influence. Malcolm X is looked upon as being non-negotiable on some issues, but very negotiable on the majority issues that compromises his perspective towards the African American community and his position towards the larger white community. The point is that they're trying to give you a new narrative of Malcolm X. For example, and this is just not whites, these are Arabs as well. Even though I'm a Muslim, all right, we have a number of Muslims who are not black Americans who take on a different perspective. So what is the picture of Malcolm do you have now that's trying to be portrayed by white America, white academics, as well as by many Arab members of the Arab and Muslim community? Is one, a Malcolm that compromised on everything, not a true man who really believed in his people. They have him as a man who said, oh, yes, I believe in civil rights, i.e. human rights, but not so much on the black cause. You have that delusion being taken out. Secondly, you have a delusion whereby Malcolm is now a person who just kind of popped up and became conscious, not looking at the fact that he was influenced by his father, who was a Garveyite, his mother, who wrote for the Marcus Garvey newspaper, and she interpreted and translated Spanish and French in the paper, and not that he was influenced by the struggles and the racism of America and the struggles and racism of the Caribbean. Those things are left out completely. Hardly you get any story about how the KKK murdered his father, how the American Department of Family and Welfare broke up his mother, broke up the family, and how they actually caused her to have a nervous breakdown to ultimately partition Malcolm's family, his sister, his brothers, and everything. They were all partitioned, and they became a ward of the state. Those things influence him, but those elements are left out of the story. Then you have the element whereby of his upbringing in reference to his consciousness. All right, his consciousness came in 1946 when he was placed in jail. All right, for burglary. Right, he's called for burglary in Boston, Massachusetts. All right, when he goes to jail, all right, he's influenced by his brother who had joined the Nation of Islam. All right, and other members of the Nation of Islam who took a liking to him. They don't tell you that while he was in jail and that he accepted Islam there, he became the first American, all right, prisoner who began to petition for Islamic rights within the American judicial prison system. He wrote constantly to the governor of the city, of the state. He wrote to the president of the United States, saying that, listen, we deserve the right to have prayer as a Muslim. We deserve the right to have halal foods. We don't eat pork.
Right.
Those things are completely left out. All right. That again is also left out that he was influenced by Elijah Muhammad, not just in reference to Islam, but in reference to him as being a black man who was subjugated and misused by a white system. That's what Elijah Muhammad preached within the strands of Islam. That part is completely left out. All right. Another part that is completely left out is the fact that, we all know Malcolm when he took his Hajj, right? He takes his Hajj, I believe, in 1963 or so. However, all right, and we know that he received the name Malik al-Shabazz, all right? But the part that is left out is that he also takes another name by the name of Omawali, all right, when he goes to Nigeria, all right, which means the child that has come home. Why is this important? Because Malcolm stated, yes, my religion is Islam. And my religion is between me and my God. That's what he said constantly.
Yes.
But my politics is black nationalism. That's a very important part that is left out. Now, why is that so important? Because when they talk about black nationalism at this time and even now today, the larger white community, as well as many of our black academics who are uninformed, and many of our black politicians who have no backbone, they take black nationalism to mean black supremacy. Now, check this out. You don't say that in reference to Arabism, right? Arab nationalism. You don't say that.
Right.
That it means supremacy. You don't even say that when you talk about white nationalism. You talk about it that it's a cultural thing. These white boys in the South, they have a cultural feeling about the South, and they have a love of culture in their society. You don't say that about American nationalism or any other type of nationalism. You don't even say that about Zionism, which is nationalism. But when it comes down to black nationalism, they paint it as a black supremacy. So therefore, you have now Malcolm, who preached black nationalism, and then you say, oh, yes, he was a black supremacist, but when he accepted true Islam, he becomes a universalist person, all right? He loves everybody. And all of that is not true at all, because he never gave up his stance for black nationalism. We see the same phenomenon when we're talking about Nelson Mandela. All of a sudden, Nelson Mandela is that wonderful little boy that America just loved, and we are so sad that he died. We don't make mention that the United States, along with the South African government, helped to put him in jail all those years, and that they tried to destroy the ANC, the African Nationalist Congress, all right, that they were really wanting to assassinate the man, all right? They don't say those types of things. They don't say that part. So therefore, you have a new element, a new narrative of Malcolm. Then you have now whites, the people now who's writing now, besides myself on Malcolm, I mean, are white people, white scholars from Europe and throughout the country. And what they're doing is that they infiltrate the black community, and that's what I mean, infiltrate. Mm-hmm. They get some black man, some black woman who want to talk about Malcolm. They're not all there because they're old. All right, they're not really focused on what these other people are really trying to do. So therefore, they get these people, they tell them a little tale about Malcolm. All right, they put it in their own way, and they create a new narrative that takes out the black strength of Malcolm. All right, that takes out his boldness. Because, again, they don't want you to know the true Malcolm. The last time that we started to understand a new Malcolm, all right, or not the old Malcolm, was in the 1990s. I mean, you had the movie, Spike Lee's movie came out, Malcolm. That was a regeneration of interest to Malcolm. Louis Farrakhan, a person who was taught by Malcolm, was talking a lot about Malcolm and his friendship, even his differences with Malcolm. But Malcolm was elevated, all right, within the black community. Anywhere you went, if it was Harlem, South Side of Chicago, Watts, L.A., or the bottom in Miami, you can get a Malcolm X hat, you can get a Malcolm X shirt, and people who were not even Muslims were calling themselves X, Clarence X, John X, Pookie X, everything, because we had that movement that was taking place. But again, their job is to negate that, all right, to pull that out. So now Malcolm is no more than a footnote. And that's why today is his birthday, and no one has made a move, except for you, primarily, to honor this man. This man was an icon, not just for black America, but for the world. He educated, and he was a beacon of manhood. Stand up and be counted. Malcolm used to say, what can they do? All they can do is kill me, and they killed me before, and I came back to life. What he means by that is that they killed my consciousness, but now I refound my consciousness, now so I'm living again. I'm baptized in this. That's Malcolm, how he talked about. So therefore, they don't want that true Malcolm. They're afraid that Malcolm, because that Malcolm brings forth a whole new element of manhood. And that is why they even brought forth that documentary about who killed Malcolm. Now, many of you got all excited about this documentary. All they did, people, was rehash the old story. I looked at this video, and they interviewed some Muslims, people of African descent, who knew nothing about Malcolm, did not know the man, never studied the man. All they did was regurgitate something they heard from somebody else. It was the most atrocious thing I ever seen in my life. The only one that really did anything was the guy who was doing the research, but all the other ones, except for Akbar Muhammad, was folly. I mean, they were just intellectual punks, put it that way, on that issue. All right. So therefore, what they gave was a rehashing of the Malcolm story. That is, Malcolm came up, what they said, he had a problem with Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad used his power and influence to assassinate him. All right, so therefore, in your mind, you have a deluded Malcolm, you have a deluded Elijah Muhammad, and you have no real sense of manhood and influence and a model that you can utilize to create a new movement today. And let me tell you something why this is important. All right, it's important because look at the people who Malcolm influenced, right? Malcolm influenced Eldridge Cleaver. Eldridge Cleaver at one time was a Muslim, briefly, but he studied the rules and the lessons and the mannerisms and the discipline and the organizational structure that Malcolm laid down.
Right.
That's all within the Black Panther Party. Who else? Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael. All right. He was influenced by Malcolm. Ultimately, Stokely becomes, again, like Eldridge, a major player in the Black Panther Party. All right? Angela Davis, who's an urban lady of the Northeast. She influenced by Malcolm. Who else? Maya Angelou. All right? You forget about her. I mean, Maya Angelou was just, she was small, but she was just basically a street girl at the time. All right, but she learned from Malcolm, and Malcolm taught her about how to be a woman of discipline and of consciousness. And look, Maya Angelou became one of the greatest women in the history, not in the history of America, but in the history of the world.
That's right.
All right, I mean, he influenced Sonia Sanchez. Sonia Sanchez, a beautiful writer out of Cincinnati, but she was a professor at Temple University. She constantly critiqued the issues that was taking place within American society to such an extent her offices was raided many times. All right, then you have Baraka that he influenced out of New Jersey, another scholar. He influenced so many people to become activists for our people. You don't have activists no more. The people you think of activists, they're not activists. They're no more than players trying to usher in or play patty cake and love with either the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Now remember, Malcolm said he doesn't give a damn about either party, right? He said my party was black nationalism. He didn't care about party, because he understood that both parties were ruled by our oppressor, and they would utilize their influence to negate us, to subjugate us, and to push their billing within the community. Also, what's about him that was so strong? All right? Well, now remember, Malcolm was alive and moving and doing things in New York. He was really having an effect on the syndicate. Let's close this window. The syndicate and in Harlem. They had a hard time selling the drugs and the heroin and pushing the horse like they used to, because under Malcolm, with the FOI and with his organizational movement, he did not only stop them physically, but he was able to stop the victims mentally, whereby young people started to say, listen, I don't want to I don't want to do these drugs no more. Hey, you know what? I don't want to be a trick any longer. You know what? I mean, this burglary is not what's happening. He was transforming, all right, all of Harlem, i.e., the entire black community. Now, another reason why they don't want you to look at Malcolm, all right, Malcolm single-handedly founded 15 masjids or temples in the United States. All this stuff that you have out now, I mean, it makes me sick. All right, that we have all these brothers and sisters running around chasing other people, saying, "Oh, this is the first masjid in Orlando. This is the first masjid, you know, in Sacramento. Oh, we thank you for the Arabs and the Persians." I have love for them because they're my Muslim brothers, but we need to get out of this thought. The first masjids came to the Nation of Islam, and Malcolm built 15 of them single-handedly. All right? Him and Muhammad Ali built the one in Orlando, Florida.
The greatest of all times.
Hello?
The greatest of all times.
That's right.
Dr. Isa Muhammad's telling the truth. They can't stand it. They can knock us off, but we're still here.
That's right. We're still here.
All praises due. That's right.
All right?
Man.
So what's taking place is that we have to have we have to bring back our narrative. Because I'm telling you right now, if we continue with this, let me put it now, the majority of our children don't know who Malcolm X is.
That's right.
Don't know what he stood for. All right? They don't even know what he looks like. They don't know the fact that when he went to Africa, he met with Kwame Nkrumah, one of the greatest African leaders in the world. While Malcolm was talking about unifying black Americans and unifying the black world, Kwame Nkrumah was talking about what? Developing the United States of Africa. The next person to do this would be Colonel Gaddafi. And let me tell you something. Like they got rid of Gaddafi, they got rid of Nkrumah. The CIA,
yes,
the Committee to Intervene Anywhere, destroyed his government and also destroyed something that Malcolm loved. Because one of the things that Nkrumah let Malcolm know was that he was involved and he was concerned and interested in having nuclear energy in Ghana. All right, that would have made Ghana made to have a seat at the same table as the United States and Russia at the time. All right.
Wow.
Then from there, he goes to Nigeria. All right. He doesn't hang out at the mosque. He goes to the people. Yes. He goes and connects with the Yoruba community, the African cultural religion. People forget about that. All right. Then he goes to Egypt and hangs out with President Nasser. All right. One of the staunchest Arab nationalists, but also an African that was transforming the world, and he was pushing Africa to become allies with the Soviet Union at the time. Why? Because black Africans needed to have a balance,
yes,
so they could balance off the United States. All right. Now, while he is at this meeting, and check this out, they always talk about, he understood, he learned universalism, and white people was not so bad. But let me tell you something. NASA and the Arabs had no love for white folk. Now, why is that? Where do you get this from, Dr. White? All right? You forget that during World War I, the Ottoman Empire aligned themselves with the German Empire during World War I because they were concerned that the French, the Italians, the Americans, and the Russians were going to petition the Ottoman Empire. Ultimately, when Germany lost World War I, they did partition it. All right? That's where you come in Iraq and Iran and all these other places that never existed before. So therefore, NASA and the Arabs, they were pissed off by this because they wanted to get their former glory and their empire back. All right? They wanted to rid the infidels. So don't tell me that all of a sudden they started saying, oh, wow, these people are good. That's a damn lie. right? That was a damn lie. And what they wanted with Malcolm was that Nassau and the Arabs wanted Malcolm to be their spokesperson, all right? Because no one could speak like Malcolm in the Western Hemisphere. But Malcolm said no. He said, I align with your nationalism. Foremost, I am a black nationalist. My struggle is against these people in the United States who killed my father, all right, who partitioned my family, and who was lynching us every day in this country. That's where his fight was, all right? And we try to ignore that completely. That here's something else they don't want you to know. Again, they say, oh, Malcolm, he understands true Islam in 1963. But check this out. He first went to the Middle East in 1958. All right? Did he go to Mecca? No, he went to Medina. Now, I just came from Mecca and Medina, not terribly long ago. All right? That's before the virus. All right? And let me tell you something. What you see in Medina, or what you see in Mecca, you see in Medina. I'll put it like this. What you see in Orlando, you see in Tampa. What you see in Tampa, you see in Chicago. You don't see much difference. All right? So therefore, he saw white or light-skinned Muslims praying with dark-skinned Muslims. It was no revelation at all. All of that was hyped up, more so than anything else, so that he could get support for some of the initiatives that he needed. You see? But, I mean, the only reason why he did not go to Medina, to Mecca in 1958, is because he went there representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said that, listen, I want my leader, teacher, and guide to enter Mecca and make Hajj before me. People don't tell you that part. They tell you something completely different, a whole bunch of lies. So how do we change this thing, right? We got to change this thing, but we have to have our people write good stuff. Push those professors in your city. If you're in New York, push them at Columbia, NYU, all right, or some of the other schools. If you're in Philly, push them at Temple, all right, or University of Pennsylvania. Push them to do real research and to speak out and to make themselves available to the activism of the African American community. If not, then they're not worth nothing. All right, they're not worth a damn. And so we have to change that, and we have to also push our African American leaders to do the same. Now, one of the things that I'm so pissed off about, I guess I'm pissed off a lot of things today. I mean, Malcolm's assassination was what? February 21st, Black History Month. Check this out. I don't know. First of all, I know not one masjid, and we have over 56 masjids, temples, masjids in Orlando area, Central Florida. Not one said a mumbling word about this man, Malcolm X, or who they may want to call Malik El-Shabazz. Not one.
It's a damn shame.
All right? I don't even know if any church did.
Whoa, you're right.
All right?
You're right.
All right? There was nothing in the newspaper, nor nothing on the media about it. All right? So if it's not mentioned, it's not existed. It's not existing. He's disappeared. So therefore, we have to bring him back. I mean, it's a shame that you can go through February and not mention Malcolm X. All right? Was killed on the 21st of February, all right, at the Audubon Ballroom. At least mention the Audubon Ballroom with a black on.
Right.
All right? It's in Harlem. Right across the street from Harlem Hospital, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Columbia Presbyterian is right across the street from the Audubon because that's where I was born.
That's right.
And when Malcolm was assassinated, that was on 168th Street on Broadway, and I was on 152nd between Amsterdam and St. Nick, right? So I was less than a mile away on that historic, unfortunate thing that happened. But when they wheeled him across, that's the hospital I was born in.
That's right. So these things are not mentioned. All right? If they're not going to be mentioned, at least we should.
That's right.
I mean, we should have a special day for Malcolm.
I can't believe how people can't see that of course, as they erase him and reduce his memory and effectiveness and what he's done as far as the real work without getting a dime for it. I mean, look at what they're putting in our face, which is a GMO culture that's compromised. We're more worried about these rainbow rights. We're more worried about things in Hollywood. All this stuff that they have concocted is a buffer from us learning the true history and culture, which would ignite something inside of us to take action. No matter how much of a virus is out there, it would ignite us to take action, and things would happen overnight. Brother, I'm going to say it this way. And I mean, I know we all have our personalities. I'm not putting anybody down. But if everybody had your consciousness and your knowledge, this thing would drop. It wouldn't even take a day.
Yeah. I mean, check this out. Check this out, Brother Lance. All right. This whole virus, the coronavirus.
Yes.
They're saying, oh, well, it's attacking blacks because pre-medical problems. If you would understand the eating habits of Malcolm, you wouldn't have this. Malcolm ate one meal a day.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even chew chewing gum. He fasted on Monday and Thursday of every week. All right?
Discipline.
He was a clean man, not drinking, all right? Not even soda pop. All right? The sweet that he would have would be bean pies, and he didn't eat them all the time. I'm addicted to bean pies.
Right.
All right? He said that if you can do two things, if you can control your eating and your sex, you can control anything in your life.
That's right.
He was a man who could not be compromised by sexual norms. And listen, a lot of women wanted Malcolm.
Of course.
He was handsome.
Yeah.
He was tall.
Mm-hmm.
He was sharp.
Mm-hmm.
They were throwing themselves at him. But he never took the bait. All right? If we would eat like Malcolm, we would be in a better shape. Malcolm also stated that black men need to be able to protect their homes. Now, where did he get this from? Malcolm X was a student, people don't realize, a student of Robert Williams. What I mean by that, he studied Robert Williams. Williams was that great NAACP president down south who put out the movement, who had the movement, Negroes with Guns. He said that if they're going to come to get us, we're going to meet them. We're going to protect ourselves.
That's right.
All right? Now, Malcolm did not believe in guns at the time, but he said that show your manhood.
Uh-huh.
All right? Instead of just walking and getting beaten up by policemen and getting bit by dogs, if you're going to die, die swinging. All right?
Yes.
Manhood. All right? Most of the brothers now, we fight each other on a dime, all right, over something stupid. But when it comes down to protecting themselves against outside forces, we melt like butter on a hot day. I mean, I am so sick and tired. And Malcolm was too. That every time that something happens to our people, we get beaten up, we get killed, we do three things. All right? We have a press conference, we have a march, then we go to church and say, that's too bad, when we're going to have some justice. And that's it. And the final straw to that is that the family walks away with some money, but the issues still remain the same. All right? Now look at it. Now, I disagree with these people, what I'm about to say, but a few weeks ago, a white militia group was in Lansing, Michigan. And you know, he lived in Lansing, Michigan. All right? And they went up to the state capitol with their military hardware. And they're saying that, listen, we want our liberty in reference to this opening up America. I disagree with them 100%.
Right.
But they showed manhood. And they said that we would die on this. But guess what? If we die, some of you are going to die too. And guess what? The police didn't do a damn thing.
See?
They didn't arrest them. They didn't even holler at them. But you see, Malcolm said that we have to do things like that. Show manhood, show strength.
Yes, we do.
But we as a black man, as a group, we have become punks. Everybody now is on the internet being a revolutionary.
Yes.
They can talk some stuff.
Yep.
But they have no damn guts to do anything. They don't even have enough guts to say anything to their boss who's misusing them, or to the boss of their wife who's flirting at their wives and trying to get their wives into bed every day. They don't have enough guts to say anything to them. You see? So we have become sissified. And look at it. And that's why many of our men now, they do more hip swinging than women.
Of course they do. And they encourage
and the
that.
Women, and the women do more harsh talk than a man. I said, what type of thing is that? Not long ago, I guess I shouldn't say this, but I've never been accused of being politically correct. Some time ago, I was walking, and two sisters, beautiful sisters, walked past me, and I smiled and said hello. And one of them was an open gay person, her walk, her look, her talk.
Right.
And she looked at me like she wanted to jump on me, like she wanted to box me. and I smiled at her, and I said, sister, you have something that comes along once a month that reminds you who you are.
Woo!
All right? So don't get
I'm going to use that one. You
see? You can play man all you want. But that thing comes along once a month.
But wait a second. You'd be the last person any man would want to box. You're a fighter. You ain't going to say it, but you are a boxer. You are a trainer. You're a fighter. You know this thing. You run every morning. You keep yourself in shape. You're in phenomenal shape. So now a woman's going to look at you like this? They better get them keyboards from in front of them, because a lot of us are gassed up as to what reality is.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have to, Malcolm was teaching us and trying to show us how to be men again. He also said, listen, being a man means that you stand up on your own. You provide for your family.
Yep.
All right? You go out and you come back with something. Even if your woman makes more money than you, you say, this is what I brought home, baby.
That's right.
All right? All right? And then he stated, you turn your houses into schools, into a church or a masjid. That's where they should pray. That's where they should study. He was a disciplinarian on those things. All right? What does that mean? He was talking about developing strong families, which we don't have now in Black America. All right? During this whole damn coronavirus, half of the black people, the reason why they want to get in the street because they don't want to cook. Basic things like that. They don't want to educate their children. They don't want to exercise. They want somebody else to do it for them. Malcolm, if you love Malcolm, you'll say that is the wrong thing to do. We educate our own, we feed our own, and we create that nationhood within your home.
Yes.
So again, I hope that you can find some things to read. Read the autobiography of Malcolm. In fact, remember our brother Lance.
Yes.
Those of us who were in the struggle in the 70s and 80s, and even in the 60s, we read what? We read the autobiography. Mm-hmm. All right? There were some books that we had to read. All right? We read the little, I think it was Little Red Book that the Black Panthers used to put out.
Yes.
We read the autobiography. That was Alex Haley and Malcolm's piece. Mm-hmm. We read Message to the Black Man.
Oh, yes.
By the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
How to Eat to Live.
That's right. How to Eat to Live. We read Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. All right? We read The Choice by Samuel Yeti. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were conscious.
But brother, let me interject really quick. Back in those days, up in Harlem, Brooklyn, certain parts of Queens, certain parts of Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, and other places. You couldn't turn a corner without seeing a brother in the street by the curb with the little racks with all of those books there. That if you weren't even interested in those books, you kept seeing them. It's like, there's got to be something to this. I got to read this. 125th Street in Manhattan, back in the day. Now it's gentrified. I don't know what's going on up there now, but in our communities, we had books that you had to have. It wasn't like, check out this link. And it's confirmed that when you have a book in your hand, it's more effective in digesting the information. This is why when you look at stuff online, you really have to make an effort to not be distracted. You can lay down in the park with a book. You can doze off reading a book. A book is always, if you lost it, you lost it, but someone else gained knowledge from finding it. So we got to get back into the books, and you cannot erase a book out of your memory. Like the people online who will block sites and play around and keep information from going out. Nothing beats a book, y'all. We got to stay our faces in the books. Talk to me, brother.
I mean, because even everybody read the book. I mean, because at that time, right, if you met another brother or sister and they're talking stuff, and you ask the question, what have you read, sister, brother? They haven't read nothing. You say, don't even talk to me.
There you go.
Even the gangsters, from Madison St. Clair through Bumpy Johnson to all the others, all right, read because they wanted control over their community in the black way. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with their illegal activities,
Understood.
But one thing I have to make for certain is that they weren't going to have nobody else in there doing it. All right?
Yep.
I mean, you have to give. I mean, there's no different than the Italian mob, and they believe in Italian nationalism. So even our gangsters believed in black nationalism.
Yeah, but even looking at this, John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy's father, what did he do? The equivalent of crack in the modern day, bootleg liquor, and sent them all to school. So they don't talk about that, but any one of us who have roots in maybe what they call illegal activity, because if you want to speak about illegal activity, look at the government all over the world, the blood that they have on their hands. But they're quick to point out us. But when they do something, they want to whitewash it. That's the same way, and I mean whitewash it not in a good way using that word, right? But bottom line is, okay, the masjid, the church, where? The posters, where's the X hat? Pretty much after a while, you won't even see the letter X in the alphabet.
Yeah, right. We have given our story to other people. We have given away our history to other people. All right, we are more concerned with the whole political thing, and if you haven't learned by now, the political thing is not going to change your lot that much in America. This whole political thing is messed up. We have seen with this virus that the whole political system, the whole economic system, the whole cultural system in America was nothing more than the emperor with no clothes on. All right. Do you remember that story?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for some of the readers, I go with it real quick. There was an emperor, and he wanted to have the most beautiful robe on. All right. So he hired seamstress and tailors from all over the empire, and nothing they did was good enough for him. They were old. So one seamstress tailor was sewing at the machine and said, I have the most wonderful outfit for you. And the emperor said, I don't see it. He said, it's here. Everybody else sees it. And his court said, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so lovely. It's the most magnificent robe I've ever seen in my life. It is a robe from the heavens even. So he said, yeah? They said, yes, Emperor. Then he said, I'm going to walk the streets with my robe, so my court and my people, the residents of my empire, can see this. So as he walked the street naked, everybody said, oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so nice. Then a child came along and said, he's naked. He has no clothes. And he felt so ashamed. The point is that America, black people, and the world have been lying to the United States and lying to themselves that, oh, this is so great. We're so strong. We're so magnificent. We're the cradle of civilization for the modern world. All right? And we can defeat anything, any crisis. We have it made. Made in America. All right? Then when God sends something, right, it took a matter of 5 weeks to drop this empire to its knees. And we're looking at right now, black folk, all right, you're looking right now at the black community, over 23% unemployment. Right now. And it's going up. 70% of the people dying from this are black people. All right? But you don't see it. All right? But it's going to take a child to show you that this is nothing but a deck of cards that just falling down. Right? And that we're nothing more than the emperor with no clothes on. And we got to get some clothes. All right? The whole world has seen it. All right? So, and God sent this. God sent it. I said it. And I don't call it a virus as such or a pandemic. I call it for what it is in the Bible and the Quran. It's a plague. All right? That's kicking butt. And some of us are going to be caught up in it, you know, but it's all good because everything is in the hands of God.
That's right.
You see? Yeah. So, but just imagine if Malcolm was around. If he was a young Malcolm, now in 2020, how he would handle this.
Wow.
And more so, how the African-American community would be different.
Woo!
Huh?
Imagine.
Can you imagine him leading, you know, staying within the fold, staying within that black nationalist spirit and organizing? How black America would be different. We would not just talk about us having been the wealthiest black people in the world and being the 8th wealthiest nation in the world with black people. We would not just be talking about, we would be showing it. All right? Instead of having 5 or 6 black banks, if Malcolm was still talking and still out there, we could probably have hundreds of banks and credit unions. Instead of having, you know, a little clinic here and there to handle our ill and our sickly and accident victims, we would have hospitals. All right? You have Jewish hospitals, Catholic hospitals, Protestant hospitals, Seventh-day Adventist hospitals, but no black hospitals. It would be different. All right? You're talking about, black Americans, you know, not playing sports under Malcolm and his influence. We probably have not only more black owners in the NBA and the NFL, but also probably some of our own black leagues.
Oh, yes.
All right? Not like the Negro leagues, but leagues that's owned by blacks that incorporate everybody else.
That's right.
You see? It would be a whole new time. And that's why they were afraid of Malcolm connecting with Martin Luther King. People forget about that. All right? They were more closer than what you think. Do you remember the story when Malcolm King was in Savannah, Georgia, I believe, and he was going to have a march there? You know, those people in Georgia back then and even now, they're really rough. They're harsh. They're mean. All right? And they threatened Mr. King. And Mr. King didn't have to fight like Malcolm. You know, he's a good old Christian, you know, turn the other cheek. That's nice. That's beautiful. But Malcolm said, I'm not going to turn the other cheek. And the young people that wasn't listening to King anymore. People forget about that. All right? They were listening to Malcolm. All right? Just like a lot of young people now. They're not listening to some sissified minister saying that, it's God's will. They're saying, wait a minute. You know, I understand God and I love God. But the God that I see is a God that fights back. You know, in ancient texts, they refer to God as that great and terrible one. We forget about that. All right? Great by his magnificence. But when he gets pissed off with you, and don't think God don't get pissed off with you, ask the people of Noah, all right? Ask the people of Sodom and Gomorrah. When he gets pissed off with you, God really spanks you. He don't spank you, but he beats you, like your mother used to beat you. And he don't stop beating you until he gets tired.
You can cry all you want to. That's right.
That's right. And that's why right now with this coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, every time the scientists think they found a cure, this thing mutates. There's something else. Do you realize that we have 27 strands of this mutation now?
Well, you know,
27 strands.
And they're using it to usher in other things like the falling economy, the crashing economy. And to me, it's almost as though they realize that we are waking up, and their use of the internet to monitor our words, to keep us in check, has allowed some of us to connect with each other and cause this synergistic vibration to go all over the world. And it's like, oh God, we can't have this. Memorandum 46 must stand. And so with the growing consciousness of those of us who want to connect with Africa, but I have to say, this is, you know, most of us were Johnny come lately to you and a brother Malik Aziz. You see what I mean? But it's catching on, and now they want to stop it. So to me, since they know that not only is it the cradle of civilization, but if Africa was to be removed off the planet Earth, the whole world would shut down. This is why they want to put the narrative that is nothing but hungry children over there and poverty. If it's poverty over there, it's because some of the leaders sold out and some of these factions compromised them. Now, you have been and traveled and just got back from, just like Brother Malik, you go there all the time. Please, I mean, we'll get back on topic. Tell us about the motherland. We know there's issues all over the world, especially
I'm going to tell you, and I love my brother Malik. He has done a tremendous job. One of the best organizers we have in Black America. All right, and you know, as he organizes and tries to do things, they're always trying to throw a character card at him to make you don't want to listen or be following him. But he's a great organizer, brilliant young man. Known him since I was in my 20s, mid-20s.
Well, I have to say, if
Malik Zulu Shabazz,
if we go,
several Robin Kelly out there in California.
Let me just say, brother, if we go on appearance, and you said you just known him for your 20s, so what you mean? You only known him for like 8 years?
You're very kind. You're very kind.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, but serious. But let me tell you something, and this is for real. Whoever controls Africa in the 21st century controls the world. The resources, the manpower, the land is second to none. And then the brilliance that's coming out of Africa. We have at least 5 to 6 young people who have started their own car companies. We're not talking about dealerships. I'm talking about producing their own vehicles. One of them I'm working with right now, trying to get their vehicle to the United States. And we're being blocked, I said. We're being blocked by the Asians. We're being blocked by the Europeans. And we're being blocked by the Americans because they don't want you to buy their vehicle because that would put a damper on the purchasing of American or European or Asian brand automobiles. I mean, I would love
it
to
too.
drive a vehicle that's made in Kenya, South Africa, or Nigeria. That's where they're coming out of. And they're good vehicles, and they're beautiful vehicles. Right? We have another group of brothers right now and sisters within East Africa, all right, that's working on a satellite system. Because they realize that whoever controls communication, right, controls the destiny of a people. Because we're influenced by communication. All right? So we're spending billions of dollars each year utilizing the satellite systems of other people, Europeans, Americans, and Chinese, and Russians. All right? We can have our own. There are 8 countries now in Africa that says we're not dealing with the American dollar any longer. In fact about it, they're beginning to produce, talking about developing an African currency. Not a Nigerian, not a Congo, not a South African, but an African currency. That's powerful. All right? Then some of you don't realize that now the national language now of the continent is Swahili. All right? And this is a very powerful element because the national languages now of every country there primarily is European languages. If it's Portuguese, French, German, or English. Africans are recapturing their power.
Beautiful.
Then, if you go a little bit farther, some of you say, I don't want to go to Africa. They don't have no cities. Well, you're a foolish person. Beautiful, great cities. Whatever reproduce, they can produce. In fact, Africans, they're some of the most brilliant people in the world. They can look at something and they can remake it in their heads before it even gets on, before even they get the materials to do it.
Yes, yes.
I mean, these are people. I mean, these are people who can do magnificent things.
The most beautiful
Then
handmade
along
furniture.
with that, they have incorporated religion for themselves. They have fashioned. They had Christianity, of course, but they fashioned that Christianity within the African culture. All right, with their belief system. It's a beautiful thing. They have fashioned their Islam into their African belief system. All right, because they understand that when they were born African. They were born into a culture. All right, and they're not giving up their culture like they used to. There's a whole new day taking place. So therefore, if you want, and then you have a number of African Americans who are moving there. All right, they're developing businesses there. They're living with the people. All right. Now I'm going to tell you, some of you Africans want to go. African Americans want to go, and you don't go unless you're going to bring something towards their society.
Yes.
Don't go empty-handed.
And don't go with a European mind.
Yeah, with the European mind. We had that problem with Liberia. When Liberia was formed, it was formed by the United States for slaves and for emancipated slaves. And what did those African Negroes do in the United States? They went to Liberia and tried to enslave their own African people. You see? And it's not until recently. I mean, the African Americans with that slave mind in Liberia, they controlled the politics for over 100 years. And that's why Liberia was not functioning, because it was functioning as a slave people. So it's not until recently they elected a president who was, quote, unquote, true Liberian, from her lineage, not from America. So the point is, you don't go to these African places. You don't even go to the Caribbean or South America with that stuff, with that brainwashing that they put on us, thinking that you have the answers. You go there to learn, and you go there to work with them and have what you have to develop something that is unique. But if you go there to be served, they may send you back home in a box. All right? So, I mean, so it's a whole different time. All right? And then for the Africans who live here, and many Africans, not all of them, but many Africans who live in the United States, they have become brainwashed. All right? They have become so deluded that I don't even think Africa would recognize them any longer. Because they believe that whatever is here in Europe, in the United States or Europe, is it. And that's not it.
That's right.
I mean, Europe doesn't produce anything.
Right. What do they produce?
Right? I mean, what do you need from Europe? You know, you want to get perfume, you get it from Africa because they had the raw materials. You want to get gold, you get it from Africa, jewelry. What do you get? You want to get a radio? They make radios there. They make flat screen televisions in Africa. What do you need from Europe? You want to walk around the lights? They got a lot of beautiful cities that has lights in Africa.
Do they produce their own food, though?
That's right. They produce their own food.
I'm saying,
all right?
do
Good
they?
food.
Do they? Africa, in Africa, you do.
Holistic food.
Right.
All right? But, we're so spoiled. We looking for, McDonald's, death food.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've taken some people to Africa, man, in Ghana, right? And they say, well, I'm hungry, and I want my food right now. And I look at these people, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They look like stir-fried death. They're so big and so out of shape because they've been eating this poison.
Right.
But in places like Africa, they cook the food.
Yes.
It may take an hour. That's good if it takes an hour. Talk.
Right.
Enjoy yourself.
Right.
All right? Be family again. You see? All right, but we have become so messed up. I mean, can you believe at one time during the Malcolm's time, the average African American male weighed about 156 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what about now?
Now, we're talking about 202 pounds.
Mm.
And it's not 202 pounds of muscle. It's not like the muscles you had, right? I saw those pictures, man. You look beautiful. You had muscles coming out of your head. You were what? A model, a muscular model. What do you call that thing? What do you call it?
I'm humble about that.
Bodybuilder. Yeah, you was. I said, holy cow, this man has muscles. Even I saw your pinkies, man. Your pinky fingers had muscles in them. So, but there was a shape like you, our people. I mean, Malcolm timed people 156, 158 pounds. Malcolm, when you went to his masjid or temple, you know what? He took your weight.
Mm-hmm.
All right? They took your blood pressure readings. And if you were overweight, you would get fined.
Right.
All right? Now, some of you may think, oh, that's terrible. Malcolm was talking about saving your life mentally, saving your life spiritually, saving your life physically.
On all levels.
You see? And check this out also. As I said, Malcolm and the Nation of Islam, they believed in 1 meal a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of our people say, oh, we can't eat 1 meal a day. But look at you now. The white man has refashioned that into intermittent eating.
Yeah.
All right? And you think it's so beautiful? And you're so dumb not to realize it came from a black community?
Mm.
It came from us.
Mm-hmm.
And you buying all those books, all right, telling you how to eat, but all you got to do is go to some of the old lectures of Malcolm X that's on YouTube, read the words of Malcolm X, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Imam Warren-Dean Muhammad, even Eldridge Cleaver and some of the others, and you would know how to eat because it comes from your experience.
That's right.
You see? But, we're so brainwashed. If the white man don't say it, we don't believe it.
Right. We can say it all day long, but they don't hear it until he says it, and then we want to run back like it's something new.
Yeah.
When they stole it from us.
I just want to make mention
Yes.
two more things. You had a guest on your show some time ago,
Mm-hmm.
this Jewish person, and this woman, right?
Yes.
And she put the image of myself and my family on her webpage.
She did you too. Talk about that, brother.
And tried to say that we were extremist terrorists.
She did the same thing with me.
Because I don't know who her constituents are, and I don't want my family, my wife, or my son to be someplace and some crazy person attacks them because
that's what she wanted.
Them.
That's what she wanted.
See, they're going to have to attack me, and you know me. We don't fight fair. I bum rush you every day of the week. All right.
Well, you're trained for that.
That's right.
Fruit of Islam.
But check this out. I filed suit against her.
Mm-hmm.
But she died.
Yes, April 13th.
She died without getting her justice.
Well, no, it'll be there. We got ancestors on the other side, brother. She'll probably beg and want to turn around and get the justice that we would get from her. But no, that's even a rougher one because that's forevermore. She did the same thing.
The thing about it, we have to get to the point as black people that when someone rushes at us and they're unjust and they're mean-spirited and they're trying to hurt us, I didn't pray for her forgiveness. No, not me. I didn't pray for her forgiveness because she did something deliberate.
Yes.
To hurt my family, all right? And like Malcolm, who had that picture with that gun at the window, who said that if they would have bothered his family, he would have gone after the first one he saw.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mind that I have.
Mm-hmm.
All right? We have to make people pay.
That's right.
For the injustices that they do against us.
That's right.
And two, again, you begin to operate and function as a man, all right, then you don't get no respect. One time at the airport, this guy came up to me and said, I saw some of your stuff and I don't like you and I wanted to kill you. That's what he said to me.
What?
With
the videos he saw?
Some stuff.
Yeah.
Some stuff that he didn't like that I said, different perspective. I said, that's fine. And I said to him, if you had that view, remember, if you had the mind to kill me, you better have the mind to die.
Right. That's right. That's right.
All right?
That's right.
Because when you understand that, that when you're coming to attack a friend of God and a liberating person and an advocate for his people, well, that person don't die easily. All right? And secondly, you have to understand and realize that if you come with that type of arrogant spirit, you're going to have a penalty to pay yourself because if I die, I'm not going to be the only one dying that day. You see?
That's
and
right.
when they begin to understand that,
that's right.
Not that I'm not saying that you go out there with guns, but when you have that type of mind.
Oh, you don't need guns when it's like that. I understand.
No, I mean, for example, if you go through, parts of the Jewish community in New York, and you come in with some madness, they're going to tell you, their attitude is, you come with this madness in my neighborhood, don't expect to walk out.
Exactly.
And everyone knows that. That everybody understands that. If you go to an Italian community in Chicago, and if you come and act foolish, don't expect to walk out. If you go to a Mexican-American community in L.A., all right, and you're not right, don't expect to walk out. And everyone knows that. But us, you see?
Truth.
We act like that we have become punks, all right? And the time is out for that. And when I say the time is out for that, we have to have this attitude in everything that we do. If it's entrepreneurship, we have to have this attitude. And talking about entrepreneurship, I hope you saw what's taking place with the payroll protection program. I don't know one African American business in this town that received anything substantial.
That's a shame. It's
all
by
right?
design.
I'm not saying that none have, but I'm in the loop with a lot of them.
You see?
And nothing.
Nothing.
All right? So, we got to have a different mind in everything. If it's education, our children have to go to the schools, if it's high school or elementary or college, with the attitude that they're going to learn everything. And the intellectualism is one that takes no prisoners.
That's right.
We're gonna eat up everything that's out there to learn. All right?
That's right.
Everything. All right. I know. I'm talking a long time, and I want to thank you for listening to my venting.
Pure gold, brother. Pure gold. Trust me.
And the last thing is that go and study Malcolm. At the table, if you're a Muslim, when you do your iftar tonight, learn something about and study about one of the greatest Muslims who's ever been born in any society. If you are a nationalist, sit at your table with your children, your wife, your husband, your lovers, and study Malcolm, what he meant to us and try to emulate him. If you're a black activist, go follow Malcolm. Malcolm didn't ask for a license to march or a permit. When he saw something in need, he just did it. All right? Have that type of attitude. If you are a white person, European, all right, learn something about Malcolm, because he had a message for you too, and it wasn't one of hate and despisement. It was one of recovering the humanity that has been lost in the larger European society. Recover that humanity so that you can be a friend and so that you can be an ally to truth. And when you're a friend and ally to truth, you're a friend and ally to God. Get back to that. Then we can build a better world. If you are an Asian, study Malcolm, all right? Because Malcolm understood the Asian community, because throughout Harlem, you had Asian communities, constantly, Indian communities, Ruti and everything else. So no matter who you are, if you're a Christian, Malcolm was the best Christian. If you believe in African religion, he was a culturalist. If you believe in Islam, he reformed Islam. Listen to me carefully. He reformed Islam that made it relevant to black America and the world. And if it wasn't for him, you would not have a Muhammad Ali. Yes, Ali became a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, but it was Malcolm who delivered him to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. All right? That made him an imam or a minister. So study Malcolm. Learn from Malcolm. All right? If you want your husband to be a better man, you read Malcolm to your husband. All right? If you want your wife to be a better woman, you study Malcolm on what he thought how women should act within the family structure. Malcolm. All right, so let's bring him back to life philosophically and ideologically, so that we can become a better people, a stronger society, and have the true story. I'm so sorry. Anything else? You have any questions? Anybody out there? I don't know.
Oh, I wish you could stay forevermore and just lull us into not sleep, but into knowledge. Because like I said, every time that I've spent with you, it's nothing but knowledge flowing. And I look forward to seeing the development of your powerful king son, who is a prince now because you're the king, to see how he comes up, because the world doesn't know what's waiting for them when they see him come along. Yeah. And I appreciate you for that.
And last thing I want to make mention, that Malcolm surrounded himself with competent people. His lawyer was Conrad Lynn. You have to read his book called There is a Fountain. Conrad Lynn was perhaps one of the best lawyers that our people has ever produced. I know you know something about Thurgood Marshall and Charles Houston and Jim Nabrett and these people with the civil rights litigation movement. But Conrad Lynn was an activist lawyer, and the story with him is that even before Malcolm came on the scene, he used to hang out with A. Philip Randolph. And, you know, A. Philip Randolph called for a march on Washington in 1944. And he called it off because with the signing of Executive Order 8802, that opened up industrialized plans for black people. Well, Conrad Lynn said, we're going to continue to march. But he did not march on Washington. He marched from Harlem to Washington. All right? And he went through one of the most racist northern state at the time, was New Jersey. All right? So he marched there where he was attacked many times, but he was Malcolm's lawyer. All right? Who else did Malcolm surround himself with? John Henry Clark, a brilliant historian and researcher who gave Malcolm a lot of information. All right? A man that we just started respecting about 25 years ago before his death. All right, a brilliant scholar. He surrounded himself with those type of people. All right, Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou had her hands on the pulse beat. All right, of the suffering of black women and familyhood. All right, he surrounded himself with those types of people, and they all fed off of each other. And point, they all studied, and they all helped each other, and they were all true for the struggle of our people. You know. And the last thing, if you like Malcolm, in fact, name the person that the person now, who tries to model himself in style like Malcolm. Can you name the person at the national level?
You caught me with that one.
All right, here it is. If you look at the style of lecturing, even the walk of former President Obama,
oh yeah,
you see Malcolm's influence.
Yeah.
Even the structure.
Yep.
All right.
Even though politically he didn't do anything for us really, but they modeled that because we've been looking for that for so long, and it was more like a Trojan horse. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. And before he was the president, I mean, he hung around good people. I mean, he hung around the people of black knowledge. Since he really became a full-time national political leader, he allowed, sadly, people to influence him not to hang around his core.
Right.
That fed him information and gave him his strength. So now he just looks like a person who, I don't like Mr. Trump, and I'm kind of envious at Mr. Trump, and because he has the presidency and I want the presidency. That's why he's acting like that, Sadly. So, but anyway, it's good talking to your community, and my brothers and sisters, stay strong, stay diligent.
Yes.
And the fight is not over. It's a 15-round fight. All right.
That's my talk.
And the champion always wins.
That's right.
The last half of the fight.
That's right.
The real champ, right? 15 rounds. That's right. 15 rounds.
Bring back 15 rounds.
Because we used to fight 15 rounds.
Right. Championship rounds.
Championship
13,
rounds.
14, and 15. That 12-hour business, man. Well, brother, as always, you left us levitated. You left us feeling lighter, unlike someone who sits down and watches CNN or Fox or Headline News. You gave us something to feel empowered about. You helped to reset and redirect us. And this is what I tell everyone, to be very careful of what they allow to have sinking into their subconscious and conscious mind, because it will flavor how they are in their energy. And we got to keep our energy concentrated for us, because this is a time of reset. For others, this is a time for them to fall, and they tried to bring us down, and they're trying to bring us down, but they know that it's our time of reset and the time for us to ascend into the greatness that we have and to water the seeds of greatness that we have inside of us. And as we do the roll call right now, Brother Muhammad, we have Chicago here. We have Houston,
Chicago.
Texas. We have South Africa. We have Atlanta, Georgia, Detroit, Michigan, Rochester, New York, Bronx. We got some more coming in as we speak. And I know Brooklyn, whatever else, it's going to be coming in. Yeah, so, this is getting around. And like I said, you can't dumb yourself down once you have the knowledge. You could only turn yourself away from it. And when you do, it will haunt you. It will haunt you, because it's like that person who doesn't want to take the medicine. The medicine is on the shelf, and the sicker you get, you're going to have to realize that eventually you're going to have to go up on that shelf and take that medicine to get yourself well. No matter how bitter it may taste, it's the best thing for you.
I'm glad you have South Africa on the line. I have plans to be in South Africa near the end of the year, if it's the will of God.
Right.
Years ago, I was invited to South Africa, and that was during the apartheid. That's many, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I refused to go because when you went there as a black person from America, they made you honorary white people. And I said, I'm not going to be honorary nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a black man.
That's right.
And I'm not going to spend my dollars to support the apartheid regime.
That's right.
And one of the greatest leaders that we have in South Africa, I love Bishop Tutu. He has been to my house in Chicago many times when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of those people who practice what I call liberation theology. One of the books that I used to study, or one of the people I used to study back in the day, was Steve Biko. These are people that you need to study, Black America. So we need to get back and do the will of our people. For my brothers and sisters in Chicago, Chicago is a cradle of activism.
Yes, it is.
Got a lot of stuff going on. And support the people in that area who's doing something right and trying to create a better world. Brooklyn always been in the mix, in the Bronx. If you wanted to stand up for something, a good Brooklynite or a person from the Bronx, they stood up and they spoke out. The point is, wherever our people are, and who's ever on this line, you're already leaders. And you're already doing the right thing. Now echo that thing and organize. Don't talk it now. Echo and organize. Because there's the most fearful man or woman in this country is the one who organizes. If you just go on the internet and want to show off about where you've been or about the car you drive, or how you sound someplace, you're not a person of liberation. You're nothing more than a puppet and a clown. All right? Because liberation is based on sacrifice and standing up and being willing to pay the ultimate price. All right? And if you're not willing to do that, it's okay. Just shut up and sit down. I'm not mad at you. Just shut up and sit down. You see? And collect your pension. All right?
If there's one there.
Yeah. And die as an insignificant figure in this world.
Mediocre.
Yeah, die because, after they bury you, nobody's going to come see your grave anyway.
Right.
Right. And as soon as they bury you, hell, before you even bury, they're gonna bury your clothes. I mean, when my father died, God bless his soul, a great man. Even some of the people at the funeral was wearing his stuff.
Wow.
I don't even know how the hell they got his clothes.
I'm not laughing. Damn.
But it's all good because he couldn't take everything down. He couldn't take everything with him.
Right.
Couldn't take nothing with you. Actually, can't take a damn thing with you. So we think of him, and I thank God for my father.
I just want to say we got Cleveland, Ohio here.
Cleveland,
Jersey, Philadelphia, Maryland, Indiana, UK, Philadelphia again, Brooklyn, Flagstaff, Arizona, Indianapolis, Indiana, New Jersey again, UK again, Chicago again. Wow. Las Vegas,
UK,
Dayton, Ohio, Baytown, Texas.
I know that very well. I have family in South London. Great people, great freedom fighters. Mostly of mine from Caribbean people. That you realize in England that again, the people who are suffering from this coronavirus the most are people of African descent, even though the black population only represents 7% of the total population of the UK. And, they over 60%, 70% of the victims are black. What does that tell you? What's happening?
Well, let me add that in. Let me add something in, brother, from all the data I'm collecting here from people in the medical field. If you have pneumonia, you got corona. If you have a heart attack, you got corona. If you die from gangrene untreated, you have corona. If you get malaria, you have corona. Get what I'm saying? That they're putting the numbers out there to be that, to make it appear that it is us. Right. And yes, we do have pre-existing conditions, but it comes back to the same. It comes back to this thing, Brother Lance, is that we have to take care of who we are. Yep. We are bone to bone, blood of blood, flesh of flesh. We have to take care of each other. No one else can do that. All right? That's one else, because everyone is going to take care of themselves and their people. So it's beautiful that you have London. I used to teach at Southampton for a short while. Outside of London.
London, Southampton Institute. I had an apartment for a little while in Manchester. Used to spend time in Liverpool. I don't know if I told you, but I've been to over 130 countries. I lived in several of them.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You speak from experience.
In the military.
Right. Right. Well, you catching up to Akbar, man.
Oh yeah. Akbar, that's Akbar Muhammad. That's the aide to Minister Farrakhan. Let us hold him in our thoughts. You know, he's been ill up and down, and you know, he suffers from various
I understand.
issues.
Yeah, and I know.
And so that's he's a great man, one of the prime students of Malcolm X. You know, this is what he learned from Malcolm, and what he taught me to do. This is before the internet. He used to say, "Listen, Brother Vibert, if you want to know something about what's taking place among black people in the United States and the world, go to the airport and collect newspapers from different parts of the world and different parts of the country and read them." So I would go to O'Hare Airport, you know, once a week and get newspapers. So I would find out what is taking place with our people in other parts of the world. All right, this is one of the things that he taught me, and this is one of the things that I'm very, very much in love with in reference to his mind and his spirit.
Yes.
And these are things that Malcolm taught. Simple things like that. All right, so you can be abreast to things. You know, he said he taught me to read everything, and when you read, and when you're debating, especially with the larger white community and their so-called scholars, make sure that you have in your arsenal and your repertoire at least 3 or 4 good books. Because you see, the larger white community, they are intimidated by intellect from a black man or woman. If you don't know anything, if you just holler like some backward Pentecostal minister, not that they all are backward.
No, I know.
I don't want to offend anyone. If I did, I apologize. But if you just you know, somebody shooting from the hip, they love you all day. You don't intimidate them.
Right.
Because once they come with their power, your religion melts. And you say, "Yes, boss." But when you come with intellectual power, with your religious thought, then you become a threat. Then you can organize that into a movement.
Yes.
Then you become a power. And then you can influence people. You can put your mind into people to do the right thing. Then you become a dangerous man or woman.
That's right.
All right. Now, if all you want to do is run for office and become a career politician, you're not dangerous.
Right.
All right. You make a little noise, but you're locked up. You have boundaries, and you're not going to leave that boundary. Because you like to feel. You like the feel of being an alderman or a council person or a senator or a congressperson. And ultimately, you're going to do what your party tells you to do. Because if you get out of line, they're going to bring you in. All right? And they're going to threaten you. And if you're not careful, they'll have something on you. All right? They will put something on you, even if you didn't do anything. All right? Even if you didn't do anything, they will create a narrative. They will have your mother who loves you to say to you, "You've been bad and you've been evil, and I can't support you," even if it's not true. You see? So we should not be bound by politics. Once we do that, we are sold out. Nothing bounds us. The only one that curtails us is God. And if you're fighting for liberation and truth, he will not curtail you. He will support you. Because truth is the ultimate factor. That's the greatest high, right?
That's right.
That's the greatest high, truth and power to do the right thing. Okay, Now I'm finished. I'm getting like Minister Farrakhan, right? He tell you,
well,
he'll tell you for 45 minutes you finished.
But you know what? Not one person gets up to even use the restroom. They you know, you're the same way. You're cut out of the same mold. And like I said, it's always a pleasure, brother. And I'll be bugging your phone. You'll probably have to send me the voicemail sometime. It's like, as much as you can share, please share it, because we appreciate you. And I don't just speak for myself. And I have to thank you for allowing me to know Minister Akbar Muhammad and the time you brought him by the house. And that was a high point for me. It validated me. And it also got me on a couple of more lists here in America. So that's an accomplishment, because if you're not doing something, then they're not watching you. You know what I mean? So,
you know, I would encourage you, if you can, get them on the line. There's only a few people out there any longer who actually worked with Malcolm.
Exactly.
I mean, you have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Akbar, and a few others. But their time is passing. Their eyes are getting ready to be closed.
Yes.
And so, therefore, you have to get them documented on video, on audio.
Yes.
Because they're the ones who actually, I never met Malcolm. I met his wife. I knew his children. But I never met Malcolm. My parents say that I saw him when I was small, but, you know.
The same thing they said about me when my brother was pushing me around in a stroller, that he was out there speaking and my physical ears heard his voice. But what was I, a year and a half? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So you know, so I am an extension of Malcolm through these great men and women. All right. So get to them.
Yes.
Touch them and have you. Listeners, listen to some questions, because again, the majority of the people who say they know Malcolm and they knew him and they loved him, they knew him not, they loved him not, right? And they cared for him not.
Wow.
All right. So that's how it is, my brother.
Yes, I'm gonna drop the link to the show that we did when you came by the house, and you know, back in they can see that. But I'm going to probably from you only get his number, because on this phone I lost the number. So I'll get the updated number. I don't know if he's still here or in Ghana, but we'll talk about that another time. But my push is now to get as many people who can bring something to the table, and even have a question and answer period with those who have inquiries that the mainstream media won't show about them. We have so many golden nuggets, powerful individuals still alive that we need to get to, and they're pushing other things on us. So I thank you for being that conduit to remind us who's who and who has done the work, because we believe that many times when we see people with large numbers on social media, that they're part of a movement, and they're only put there by people who don't look like us and who don't like us to be in the form of mental junk food, that we suck on that and absorb that and don't really get the real meat of the matter. And I don't mean it that way because I'm a vegan, but you know what I mean? The push, the real flavor in essence of what being a revolutionary in today's world is all about. See?
Yes, sir.
So thank you so much, my brother. And may you have a blessed rest of your day, your family, and all of your loved ones around you. And know that I'm just a phone call away, day or night. The camera will come with me. And I have to make sure at some point we have to, even yourself, brother, just even 20 minutes if you're free at some point, or 30 minutes or an hour, we can go somewhere, and I like to do it in the street, post up and, you know, just get in front of the camera and talk a little bit. Let's see you. I want everybody to see you and know you that way, you know?
Yes,
and
you say when, and I'm there.
Well, I'm
when
glad,
and where?
I'm going to jump in the shower. How about another hour? I'm just playing with you, brother. But sometime within the next 2 weeks or so, when you have an opening, and I know that you're very busy, and send some more articles along that I can share with everyone. And I want to make them know you, because we have a lot more subscribers now. Our numbers are going higher, even though they're getting chopped down by YouTube itself. It's not stopping the word getting out there. So within the next week or two, let me know, and we'll talk, and we'll make something happen, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you for the audience.
Yes, my brother.
My love
to
everyone.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
lost my love. They're gonna move to the groove. I really I noticed that I lost my love.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So, my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the east, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. America, we were living in the east. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.
The day's not over yet. There will be more. Just when you least expect it, we're going to strike. Have a good day, y'all. We will be back.